When top scientist Reed Richards led his team of explorers into space, they were blasted by a shower of cosmic rays. Endowed with incredible powers, their lives would change forever as they became the Fantastic Four.
Hello and welcome to Big Dumb Movie, where we discuss a different Big Dumb movie every episode. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alan.
Hello.
And Steve.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias, Steve. Today we watched Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, the third Fantastic Four movie ever made.
Oh, because we're counting Cormans?
It was made.
It's true. All right, we'll count it.
Do you know about the Roger Corman film, Alan?
No.
Okay, so in like 1990, when Fox had the rights, was it Fox?
I think it was Fox.
They had the rights to the Fantastic Four film, but they needed to make a film in order to maintain the rights. So they made a movie that they never intended on being released, which actually never was released. But it exists. Someone got it and made a copy of it and like kind of distributed it among comic conventions, and it got disseminated that way. It's like a really shitty, I don't want to say B movie, it's like a C movie.
Yeah. This is like somebody with an 8mm camera, just like Halloween costumes and shot in their backyard. In fact, the original filmed version of Little Shop of Horrors, I think, was directed by Corman. Had Jack Nicholson in it, and they shot the whole thing in black and white, like in his garage. And even it's better than that Fantastic Four.
How did they light someone on fire for the...
I don't remember that effect.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary about the making of that Fantastic Four film. Mm-hmm. It's on Hulu, I believe, still. It's called Doomed. It's pretty interesting. I don't remember what that effect looks like. I remember that the effects weren't great. The budget basically didn't exist, so you got to use your imagination. Anyway, this is the second Tim Story Fantastic Four film. So this is a sequel to one that came out, I think, 2 years before or 1 year before?
I believe, yeah.
Okay, so 2 years before. The Rise of the Silver Surfer came out in 2007. The other one, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alan, do you have any knowledge of the first Fantastic Four movie?
Nope. I remember it coming out. I remember the trailers for this one, but I never saw either of them because the Fantastic Four never interested me that much, and after seeing it now, I'm glad I never saw it before.
I'm surprised that the first one actually got a sequel.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking boring.
Well, and even up through the release of this one, they weren't entirely sure whether or not they were going to make more. Some of the cast and crew were signed on for up to 4 films. And they really did debate making a third one. But apparently this one didn't do well enough, and they didn't. It's like the only thing I know about the production of this film.
Well, since we can't talk about your history with the film, Alan, being that you haven't seen it, I have a unique question for you.
Oh, boy.
Being that this is a Marvel movie, I guess, technically.
Yeah, sort of.
It's a Fox-produced Marvel film based on Marvel characters. Who is your favorite Marvel character?
Like any Marvel character?
Yeah, any Marvel character.
Oh, man. There's a lot. I'm trying to think. Does Ghost Rider count?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ghost Rider's cool. Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider.
Like Nicolas Cage's version or just like the general comic?
Just like the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, man.
Good
That,
for
that
him.
could be on the list for sure.
Somebody had to have fun with that.
I mean, that film wasn't good.
No.
I don't know that much about Ghost Rider. He didn't ever pop up in the comics I read as a kid.
Interesting.
I didn't read any Fantastic Four books that I remember either, but they would also come up in like events and other stuff I'd read. Like they'd always be
Yeah.
around doing stuff. There'd be a lot of like X-Men where they go like hang out with the Fantastic Four and get help from Reed Richards because he's like the world's smartest man. Steve, just for fun, what's your favorite Marvel character?
I don't know how the hell to pick a favorite Marvel character. I mean, I can think of like a dozen off the top of my head.
Okay, we'll say this one isn't your favorite, but what's one of the ones that is your favorite?
Ghost Rider's a good choice. I've been thinking a lot about the Silver Samurai lately. I like him a lot.
Silver Samurai?
Yeah. I'll say him right now.
Old man in a giant robot suit, that one?
No. Like the comic book Silver Samurai. Like the actual like Japanese samurai dude. Yeah. Definitely not that movie version.
That movie went off the rails. It had me for a while, too. Of course, we're talking about the film The Wolverine.
Right.
Venom's pretty cool, but I didn't see the new one with Tom Hardy.
Not great.
Yeah.
What about, remember Spider-Man 3 Venom? Seems like so long ago.
Right.
Well, I like the comic book or the idea of Venom too.
Yeah, he's
But
another one of my favorites.
Every one they do is shitty because he's supposed to be just like an absolute savage, right?
Yeah, he's cool.
He's like an alien like killing machine.
Yeah, well, he's the two beings fused as one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty interesting.
Right.
Steve, what was your experience with the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer film? Did you see it in theaters?
A friend of mine strong-armed me into seeing the previous one in theaters, and I had not enjoyed it to the point that I opted out of seeing this one in a theater. I watched it several months later on like HBO for the first time and was reassured that my decision to not pay for a ticket was made correctly.
So you weren't swayed by the trailers like I was?
No, well, I mean, look, when I first found out Silver Surfer was going to be in it, there was a moment when I was like, all right, you know what, maybe they'll do this one really right and I'll like it. Because I like that character. It's a cool character. But I've never been a big Fantastic Four person in general. And then some other friends saw the movie like the week it came out. And I was still debating whether or not to go see it. And I found out about Galactus. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing that.
What did you find out about Galactus?
That he is an incorporeal, like, cloud entity. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, apparently, Tim Story doesn't do giant robots, and he found Galactus to be so similar to a giant robot in appearance, he didn't want to do it that way. So this was his plug-in.
What do you mean he doesn't do like?
He like refuses. He like
fucking diva.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, no, I will not have a movie with a giant robot, and I just won't do it.
Fuck you then.
Well, Galactus is certainly not a giant
robot, right?
He's like, well, I'm just not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't
Anyway.
like it. Too much like a big robot. Like,
They're like, but it's nothing like a big. He's like, I'm not doing it anyway. Though.
right? What he decided. We're doing this cloud thing. Like, so fuck.
You know what he is into? The weather.
The Silver Surfer also sucked. He didn't do anything in this movie.
Yeah, not
he just
a
kind
real
of flew
compelling
around
character.
and like used his powers like once.
They didn't use him nearly enough. Absolutely.
I
do
didn't
anything.
hate him, but
I didn't hate him either, but like they could have at least used him more. This whole movie was, this guy could think can be our big talking point. This whole movie is really about Sue and Reed's wedding.
it
And
is.
everything else is just sort of like ancillary. It's like, oh, there's this other thing going on too. Like,
So, what is the role of the Silver Surfer and Galactus, respectively, in the comic universe, Steve?
Galactus, I'm sure I don't remember everything, but the original version of him existed prior to the universe as we know it, like before the Big Bang. And during the Big Bang became kind of a corporal entity of the universe itself, expressed in physical form, and he subsists, among other things, by consuming whole planets. He's a pretty intense character.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
why I always like Galactus. Like, how do you beat that? He's
Right?
like the universe. He's like the ultimate character.
And at some point, he comes across a world that he intends to consume, and a man on that planet says, "If you spare my people and the woman that he loved, I will basically be a harbinger for you. I will take up a board given to me by you, and I will surf the cosmos, finding you other planets to consume." And the deal was made. So, if the surfer shows up, I mean, this is early on, but if the surfer shows up, it's not really a good thing. You know, Galactus is on his way to eat your house, basically.
That guy's kind of a dick. Like, what a selfish guy. Like, oh, don't eat my planet. I'll lead you to other ones. Like, what a dick.
That's always been my problem. Is like, I like that character, but even in the comics, like, he's supposed to be sympathetic in the sense that, like, no, he was trying to save his planet, but it's like, but you doomed all these other people. Yeah. I think the only real argument against it was, well, Galactus would have eaten these other planets anyway. So it's not like I really did anyone any harm. I just stopped him from eating this one.
Yeah, but you're helping him. What a dick.
He was going to do it.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh, okay. Oh, officer.
Right.
That
I mean, I
guy's
think
gonna
there's a
get
little bit of
murdered
incentive
anyway.
for the Silver Surfer because that guy got some fucking badass epic powers
He did.
out of the deal.
Got some fantastic powers.
Yeah, he got something called the Power Cosmic, which basically means he can do anything almost. Like, he can convert, like, matter. So he can teleport, he can, like, fly, he can phase through objects, he can manipulate matter and cause it to attack people, it can, like, absorb energy. Silver Surfer's fucking OP.
One of the powers he does not have in the comic, though, is to resurrect people from the dead. And in the movie, he does.
So why does Galactus even need him? Can he just eat his planet and be like, I'll go... What does the Silver Surfer do? Find them planets? Galactus can't do that himself?
That's one thing I never quite understood
Why does he
myself.
need him?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really get it because obviously Galactus had been doing this since the beginning of time without any help.
Yeah.
So like, why does he really need a dude to help him hunt down planets?
I'm sure there's an answer, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And they don't answer that here, not even close. In this stupid movie.
No, they barely explain anything about these characters in this film. It's just kind of like, here's some other characters. But again, they're not the main focus of the movie. This ridiculous wedding is.
That's true. Just to catch ourselves up, I know Alan hasn't seen it, and for anyone listening that hasn't seen it, I watched the first film recently so I could refamiliarize myself. It's a pretty standard origin story. In the beginning, they go to space to like study some kind of like space storm kind of thing.
Reed believes that the clouds he's found in space had something to do with spurring evolution on Earth.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember that part.
Yeah, right. And he thinks that one of them is getting close enough by to Earth for him to like go research.
That's right.
Yeah,
So it's the main four characters, the Fantastic Four. So Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm. But also in the movie, Victor Von Doom comes with them, which is different from the comics. But they all get powers essentially from this like cosmic ray kind of thing. That's the beginning. The middle of the film, essentially nothing happens. Seriously, nothing happens in the middle. The first film has no second act. It's just them fucking around trying to figure out a way to cure Ben Grimm. That's it. And then in the end, Dr. Doom gets pissed at them and tries to kill them, but they like freeze him.
yeah, and he kind of at the end, it's like, oh wait, not really though.
They don't really do anything heroic at all in the whole movie, so they're not quite a superhero team. So I think the expectation was in this film, it's like, okay, they stopped Doom in the first movie, now they're going to be a superhero team.
They're not.
No, they're not.
Super wieners.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Fantastic Four was created by Stan Lee, and I heard a kind of an interesting story on Fat Man Beyond, which is Kevin Smith's podcast, about how they were created. It was actually Stan Lee's wife who convinced Stan to write these characters. He was planning on quitting the biz, and before he did, just wanted to create like one final thing, which is basically, his wife said, just do whatever you want. Since you're going to quit anyway, just make something that you think is cool instead of trying to like appease, you know, your publisher or the masses or whatever. And then he made the Fantastic Four, and it was like a huge hit. Anyway, the film. Shall we talk about it?
Yeah, let's get it over with.
Please, no.
All right, so it basically starts off with like there's some kind of UFO. I use the word UFO not as like a spaceship, but literally an unidentified flying object that's going across the planet that's kind of like creating craters and like freezing oceans and shit.
They show a scene where he flies over Egypt and it's like snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other shit does he do? He doesn't freeze oceans. He freezes like a lake.
He lands like in Japan and freezes like a part of the ocean or the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like flying across the earth, just causing all these like unexplained, bizarre, like impossible weather changes.
Yeah, he has this completely unexplained effect on weather. He like creates snow and frozen stuff, and it's like, why? there's my question. Got to ask it at least 2 or 3 times per podcast. Like, why is this happening?
It's a good point. I guess you're not supposed to think about it like you just something that happens just to create tension. Like, oh, look, stuff's happening.
It's another common theme of the movies we watch. You're not supposed to think about it.
Not too much. Fantastic Four. So we got our 4 main characters. We meet them shortly after. And what are they up to, Steve?
What are they up to? They're all the airports are shut down. Were they in an airport?
Yeah, they're like at an airport.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like getting on a flight.
Yeah, and they don't. Did they even say why? Like, where the fuck are they going?
Flying
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
Movie
So they're
sucks already.
stuck in an airport because all the planes are grounded, and they're talking about. It's just the initial setup for what you're gonna be hearing about the rest of the movie is Sue and Reed's wedding is pending, and we're gonna make this wedding happen, and don't worry about it. You shouldn't be nervous, and we'll finally be married, and blah 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 blah. And that conversation basically just keeps happening the rest of the film.
It's happening again, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
No, we're not postponing anything. Not this time. This is gonna be the wedding you've always dreamed of. And I'm not gonna let anything get in the way of that. Not even the mysterious transformation of matter at the subatomic level.
That's the most romantic thing you've ever said to me.
Which is really pathetic when you think about it.
I know, it's fucking nonstop and it's annoying.
All the way to the very end. What's the last fucking scene is like them getting married.
Oh, the big payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So
like 45
dumb.
seconds long. You could have called this The Fantastic Wedding featuring Silver Surfer.
Like, I get it. Sue Storm really wants this wedding to happen, but anyone watching this film doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
And that's the second wedding. There's two weddings because they got married in the middle of the movie when it got ruined,
Right.
I guess. But they still had the first one too.
I think Scott and Jean's wedding and X-Men was like one issue. And that was it. They were done. It's like, there's the wedding. They're
Also,
done.
they're supposed to be
Like-
like celebrities because if they make it seem like everyone's it's all over the news and the newspapers. It's like the biggest event ever is their wedding.
Yeah.
So
it's
they're like celebrities.
the wedding of the century.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
So they're going to have this wedding, and the government sends General Hagar and some goons. They come to Reed Richards and they say, "We need your help. There's some crazy UFO causing like catastrophic weather across the planet. You're the greatest mind in science. Help us figure this out." And he's like, "Well, I got this wedding thing going on. I really
save the
can't
world."
cancel. We've been planning it for months. The world be damned. I'm sorry." What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, that's pretty much. He's like, yeah, that sounds cool, but no thanks. Like, I'm good.
Meanwhile, Doctor Doom, who was frozen in the first movie, somehow like wakes up, I guess. Maybe.
Well, I think at the very end of the first one, there's like an electric pulse that hits that thing he's inside of, or kind of flows
He's
through
like
it.
a box.
I don't remember the scene exactly, but I know at the end there's an implication that something's kind of unfrozen him.
Oh, I don't remember that. I remember they
Yeah.
put him in like an Indiana Jones style. way.
Like warehouse thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is he in?
Two
This
doors
one.
over from the Ark.
Yeah, he's in like a box.
Yeah, they put him in some like box, and then it zooms out, and it's just like a ton of these boxes, and you know,
Like there's a person in
Top
there.
Man at handling it or whatever.
Top Man at handling.
All right, so we get to have the wedding of the century, right? It's happening. They're having it on top of the Baxter building. It's the biggest event. All the media's there. It's a badass wedding, I guess.
How come they and the Avengers both get their own buildings? You guys could probably share a building.
Quick question: have they ever had Tony Stark go up against Reed Richards?
Probably.
They've definitely appeared. Yeah.
Because who's supposed to be smarter?
I think
Yeah.
Reed Richards is supposed to be like the smartest guy.
But I thought Tony Stark was, or
He's up
He's up
there.
there.
But I mean, Peter's supposed to be very intelligent as well. Parker, obviously. But yeah, I think Reed's kind of like the brain king of that universe.
Yeah, he's pretty much like the smartest human man, I think.
okay.
I mean, there's others that are up there. They have their own council, if I remember correctly. It's like Reed Richards, Professor X,
Yeah.
I think Tony Stark, Namor the Submariner, and some other people are.
Okay.
You'd think Professor X would just take their brains over and be like, do what I want.
He fucking does do that shit a lot.
Right?
Yeah, he ends up being the asshole in a lot of comics.
Oh, Charles.
All right, so we get our painful, horrible wedding, right? But everything goes wrong. So like, there's like a helicopter filming it or something, and the Silver Surfer like flies by, and it causes like mechanical issues with the helicopter. So they got to like use their powers to stop it from killing everyone at the wedding. And then we get a scene, which is Johnny Storm chasing down the Silver Surfer who flew by. This was actually a teaser trailer, like part of the scene. It was cut down to like a minute. And this is what got me hyped for the movie before it came out.
That chase scene is the best part of the whole movie. I mean, that's the one part of the movie that really, for a moment, felt like, oh, hey, here's the comic book. Like,
Right.
You know? Yeah.
It's essentially them flying through the city, Silver Surfer being chased by Johnny Storm, you know, the Human Torch. Human Torch eventually catches up to him, and the Silver Surfer basically just like grabs him by the throat and flies up to space and drops him. That was the teaser trailer, and that looked pretty cool, but aside from that, like, there's not a whole lot of, I use the word cool, but they don't have a whole lot of it. And the interesting thing is Kevin Feige, who does the MCU films, he was an executive producer on this film, so you think it would have a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think they would have made a little bit more of an attempt to make the comic book film feel like a comic book film and not like a drama about a wedding featuring comic book characters. But
Do they ever explain why the Silver Surfer keeps flying around? Because later they say that his board is like the beacon.
yeah.
But why doesn't he just like tell Galactus where to go? Like, why does he have to keep like just?
He's got to
zooming around?
create some like craters in the earth to make it
Like,
easier for him
why?
to consume or something. He like uses that as a way to destroy the planet, I think.
They don't.
I think that's the
explain
implication,
that.
right? I mean, he's doing this
I
shit
don't
for a reason.
fucking- That's what
Yeah,
I'm
it seems
asking. Like,
like
why?
it.
Why is he doing this?
It's very vague. It's not well defined.
It is very big.
Yeah. So Silver Surfer messes up their stupid wedding.
And there's another issue that comes up where Reed and Sue, they're like, you know what? After we have our wedding, let's stop being the Fantastic Four. Let's just like retire. We'll have a kid. We'll name him Franklin, and I'm sure
He'll be
there,
psychic.
there will be no problems.
Right. It's such an inconsequential thing. It's like a 2-minute conversation that barely gets mentioned again the rest of the movie. And then at the end, they're like, oh, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, the need to create this internal drama is.
Right. Yeah.
But this is where they find out Johnny can transfer his powers because he touched the Silver Surfer.
That's right. So expand on that a bit, if you please.
So the Silver Surfer, like you said, chokes him out, drops him back down to Earth, so he gets owned immediately. But how does it happen? He touches the thing, and they like switch powers, and then that's how they figure out like he's like infectious. I don't even know what they call it.
But basically, he can't touch anyone on the
Yeah.
team, or they'll accidentally trade powers.
Trade powers.
Like, I know what movie we just watched. I know what the character's name is, but there was a second there when you were like, he touched the thing, and I'm like, what thing? And it was like,
thing.
oh, literally the thing, yeah.
The orange fucker.
Right.
Fucking movie.
The
I was
Rock.
like, what thing is he talking about? And it's like, oh, the character.
Would it be too on the nose if Dwayne The Rock Johnson played the Thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, let's not do that.
It's already been said.
Right? Yeah, you just put this stuff in the universe.
Yeah. If it happens, you'll have me to thank.
Oh, I'll get lots of thank yous for that.
So Doctor Doom is back. He's back, baby, somehow. He's not froze anymore. And he confronts the Silver Surfer. He like is tracking him down because he wants to form like some bad guy super team, I guess. And he says to the Silver Surfer, he's like, look, let's be on the same team. It'll be fun. Silver Surfer just basically knocks him on his ass.
You've been busy, my friend. Your talents are impressive. Together, we could be unstoppable. Anything would be ours for the taking.
All that you know is at an end.
What do you mean by that? Wait! I said wait!
But I don't understand what he's trying to accomplish. What does he think the Silver Surfer and he are going to do together? I mean, and do you not realize that this person is the harbinger for this other thing that's coming to eat the Earth? And, like, how are you even aware? He's apparently aware the Silver Surfer existed before this point, but no one else on Earth is. Like, how did Doom know? How does Doom know how his board works? How does Doom know any of this?
How did you expect to stand up to his powers? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Plus, most pussified version of Doom ever.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So I
So,
didn't like that.
so what is Doom all about in the comics? Tell us the difference here between the Doctor Doom we have in this film and the Doctor Doom we have in the comics.
Doom in the comics, in a way, is almost like a really bent Doctor Strange. He's capable of manipulating things, the world around him through magic. He's been trained by all these crazy people. He occasionally uses like components of his armor or other things to like enhance his ability. He's also just insanely strong and physically almost invulnerable. He's been shown in the comics to be capable of fighting hand to hand with almost any other character, barring maybe like the Hulk.
He's still like a person. Like, what is he? He's like a normal person. Not a normal person.
That's like Steve said. So he has two main things. One is magic.
Right.
Like Doctor Strange, kind of.
Okay.
So he knows magic probably better than almost anyone, maybe aside from Doctor Strange. and he has like an Iron Man style suit. So he's basically Iron Man and Doctor Strange, but evil and with a huge ego.
And he's not invincible because he's like a person.
No, he's not invincible, but he's able to make himself so invulnerable to injury that he's borderline invincible, except to really, really powerful enemies.
Okay.
Yeah, through magic. I mean, he can, like, just like anyone in the comics, he can be defeated, but he's pretty fucking badass.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, he sucked.
I mean, he's wasted Thanos. He's done all kinds of shit in the comics. He's crazy.
Who is the actor that played him? I don't even know that guy.
His name is Julian McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he been in other stuff?
I'm willing to bet he's one of those TV guys that's done a lot of TV, you know?
Yeah, I think that's most of the rest of his career.
So how the hell did they get him? They had some pretty high profile people, and they're like, Doctor Doom's like the main, not the main.
They just
but
completely miswrote
fuck?
that character. Well, he basically is the main. I mean, because the deal that Fox has with Marvel is so restrictive in regards to which characters they have access to. Galactus and Doom are basically it, I think, for the Fantastic Four units. I'm not sure there's anyone else they can use.
well, the Silver Surfer.
The Surfer, yeah. But he's not really a villain long term. Like, he does this one fucked up thing, but then he redeems himself, and over time he usually comes back to, like, help them.
But he is the.
So-
why would he? Okay, but he is the villain in this movie. I mean,
Well,
they make you feel sympathetic, but like,
He's kind of the unwilling villain. You know, like, he's doing this thing to help Galactus, but it was only to save his own people, and, like, then at the end he decides to destroy himself and Galactus to spare the Earth from being consumed.
which I didn't get. How can he defeat Galactus? Galactus chose him.
Yeah.
Like, wait, how did he like blew himself up? That's enough. How did that beat Galactus?
Right.
That's so shitty. Galactus chose him. Galactus eats worlds, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna rebel and kill you."
Well, everybody, that's the end of the movie. See you next time.
Yeah, right. They never really explained how the Silver Surfer can just make Galactus go away. Should have just done that before, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end, what the credits, they show the board and they imply that he's still alive. So he basically killed Galactus and still lived.
Yeah,
He
survived
couldn't have
somehow.
done that like before, like
Right.
Corey said. Oh, thanks, fucking Fantastic Four, for showing me. Like, and how is he more powerful than Galactus? He killed him, and he's implied to be alive at the end. So he
Right.
basically straight up killed Galactus, and he's still alive. How is he more powerful than Galactus?
He shouldn't be.
No.
They screwed up all these
Yeah, it's
characters.
bullshit.
This is like hashtag not my Galactus, man.
Yeah, hashtag not my Galactus, hashtag not my Doom, like hashtag not my Surfer. I mean, none of them were really done right. Like,
I don't mind the Silver Surfer too much.
he was the least offensive, absolutely.
I think he looks good. I think the actor they chose, well, two actors, are both good. So they got Doug Jones, your classic, movie skinny man. And they got Lawrence Fishburne to voice him, which
Right.
actually works pretty well, I think, the voicing with the
It was interesting.
physical representation. I think it works well.
It is known by many names. My people called it Galactus, the devourer of worlds.
But there are some aspects that fall apart. But the biggest is not him. It's definitely either Galactus or Doom.
Yeah.
And Galactus is just basically this like giant looking dude, but he looks the way he looks because he's kind of like perceived by those that are viewing him. So he looks like a giant humanoid guy to people on Earth.
Yeah.
But might look like something else to people on a different planet. Like more like them. And he's just kind of, he indiscriminately will eat the planet and just kind of move on. He's like a force of nature more than anything.
Right.
More than like a dude with a agenda.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's weird that they used Lawrence Fishburne for the voice of Galactus, but then they used that
You mean the surfer?
or the Surfer. But then they picked that one guy to play Doom. I don't think the voice would have mattered so much on the Silver Surfer. You could have gotten anyone that sounded similar, but Doom was a main character, and they chose like this not well-known guy. Why did they give Lawrence Fishburne? They put the money into Lawrence Fishburne to voice the Silver Surfer, and they skimped out on Doom.
Well, they had to use the same actor from the previous one. I imagine he was contracted.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was the same guy in the previous one?
Yeah, same actor. Played Doom. The actors are pretty much all the same. So you got Mr. Fantastic. His name's Johan Griffith. Jessica Alba as our Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. Chris Evans as the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, and then Michael Chiklis as the Thing. That's right.
Yeah.
I say Chiclets, not Chickless, because I like to think of him as a little cheap pack of gum. You know?
I love that
That
gum.
gum. Yeah.
Chiclets.
Secret.
The little, yeah.
Little squares.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Oh man, Chiclets. What was your guys' first experience with Chiclets?
I don't remember where I first saw him. I was aware from him or from around LA, but my most memorable experience with him was in Acapulco, Mexico. There was some kids in a square in the center of town selling them. It was pretty crazy.
Nothing watching fall. Haven't eaten at the bullfight, but
chicle?
What?
Que si quiere chicle.
Why? Why would I want that? Why would I want bubble gum?
Es chicle de menta, sabe muy rico, en serio. Es que tengo una familia que mantener, hermanos, hermanas, papá, mamá.
All right,
ya
all right.
sabes.
Yeah. Okay. This should hold the both of us over for quite a long time. So, I don't ever want to see you again.
Gracias, señor.
Fuck off.
That was more of a joke question, but
No. I wanted to give you a real answer. It was an important question. Plus, it's way more interesting than this movie.
we're avoiding the matter at hand.
Yeah, I guess it's true. I'm prolonging this. So let's get back to the
wedding.
movie.
All right, so we're in our middle of the movie, which is they're trying to figure out what the Silver Surfer's up to. They're tracking him. At some point, they anticipate where he's going to be, and they go, I guess, to capture him. But along the way, like, they fuck things up. Basically, he creates his crater, and he starts, like, knocking down this giant Ferris wheel, and they spend all their time trying to prevent that from killing everyone.
It's the London Eye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. they track him to London.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to know this landmark, I guess.
This is like the first time almost anything starts happening, and we're like halfway through the movie. And it's even shittier because I guess it's supposed to be for that scene, but they're like dysfunctional. They don't really do anything or even fight the Silver Surfer. It's just them like fucking up and trying to save the Ferris wheel.
And man, they bicker a lot on the way over there.
Yeah.
When he surfaces, you gotta move the fight away from the crowd.
No, he's too fast to be contained. When I see Silver, I'm hitting him.
Wait, you can't do that. We've got to stick to the plan and work as a team.
Oh, so we're a team now. That's news to me.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Look, we were gonna tell you guys.
When were you gonna tell us? When you moved our stuff out of the Baxter building?
Johnny, this really isn't a good time.
Kid's got a point, Reed. You should have told us.
All right, that's enough. We'll talk about this later. What the hell is wrong with you people?
Probably more like the argumentative four.
The drama for fucking high school bullshit.
Fantastic Four, the movie about the time they got married.
Right.
And almost decided to stop the team, but then didn't.
We got to quit being the Fantastic Four. No, let's not do that. Okay, issue resolved.
I've decided this is fine.
All right, so what happens next? The military enlists the help of Doctor Doom. They're like, we need this guy to help us for reasons. And the Fantastic Four is like, that's not a good idea. He's a huge piece of shit. He'll probably try to kill us all. And they're like, fuck it, we're doing it anyway.
And then he does.
And then he does.
Okay, now I didn't get that. Maybe because I didn't know the first one, but they fought him in the first one. Didn't the military know he's like a criminal or a bad guy? Like, why did they bring him in? They never explain that. They're like, oh, you could just help us, but why?
The thing is, in the first movie, he's not like trying to take over the world. He's just trying to like kick the asses of the Fantastic Four and I guess kill them because he hates them specifically.
Okay.
But yeah, he does commit crimes. I mean, like he destroys a bunch of stuff.
That's
And
okay. So the government knows he's
attempted
like
murder counts, I guess, too.
criminal. He's like a bad guy, but they need his help. And what help? Like, what is? He doesn't even actually help them. Like, what does he actually help with, or what does he bring to the table?
He just kind of stands with them and wears black.
Yeah.
It's kind of menacing.
Like, he's supposed to be there to help Reed come up with a way to track the surfer, but he basically does nothing. Like, he's mostly just like skulking around in the background wearing his green jacket that's supposed to like vaguely be a reference to his costume in the comics.
Just being ominous. You're like waiting for I know he's up to something.
The
Like,
jacket's
he's gonna
kind of cool though. I wear
betray
that
them.
jacket.
He's just building the pressure. Like, oh, I don't feel right about that guy.
I'm just going to be ominous while you guys do all the work. All right. That's cool.
Yeah,
Is
like,
it
he
a
doesn't
crime?
do anything.
So they have this plan. They're gonna catch the Silver Surfer and they're gonna knock him off his board, which is they discover his source of power.
Reed does, or not Doctor Doom. He doesn't do anything.
I think he helps with that discovery.
Does he?
Yeah, I think that's his contribution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So they actually do this, right? So they set up a trap. Silver Surfer shows up. Boom, they knock him off the board. They take him into custody, right? Now, the Fantastic Four, they're like, we should talk to him and figure out what he's all about. But the military is like, no, let's just fucking torture him. It'll be fun. This is what we're all about.
Who was the guy who had like the needle and like he was shocking him? Like you said, they just straight just go right into torturing him.
I don't even think they asked him any questions,
No.
like Darth Vader style.
They're just like, oh, you're fucked now.
Look, I'm going to torture you.
That's what you do when you capture an alien. Actually, I think that's protocol.
And they've got this guy who shows up specifically just to torture him, but this dude is carrying syringes. The thing you're trying to interrogate, or
like
I guess
an
torture,
alien.
is an alien. So how the fuck do you know what the stuff the syringes is going to do? Like
probably
he might,
kill him.
he might make him like combust. He might just blow up all over you. You have no idea. Like
The ultimate torture.
And he's like shocking him with the
like that one dude at the end
defibrillator.
of Big Trouble in Little China just inflates until he pops.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's a good effect, too.
It really is. God, Carpenter was good.
So
What
they
about
start-
Tim Story? Was he good?
Not generally.
But he did a ride along.
Oh God, let me apologize.
I like the part after they finish torturing him. That was kind of weird. That they decide they have to talk to him, or the team does. So she have Sue sneak into the room where they're just like the security guards and everyone just leaves, and they're like, "Oh, we'll come back," but they don't have cameras. They don't have like other security. You would leave that thing surrounded by protection. It's like a fucking alien from another world. You would have security guards like in the room with him. You would have cameras. You would have like sensors. But she's somehow able just to sneak in because she's invisible. And even when she's talking to him, it's like, yo, no one else can see this. You don't have cameras. You don't have like security guards patrolling. Like no one's like, hey, what the fuck's going on?
They just have some leather straps over him.
Yeah. Oh, he's fine. Let's go get lunch.
This will keep him. This intergalactic thing.
Let's go get some drinks at the bar. We'll come back. Like, okay.
What does he reveal to Sue during this conversation, Steve?
He tells her basically that he's there leading Galactus to Earth to consume it, and that there was a moment earlier where he saved her. She asks why, and he said because he reminded me of someone I was in love with. He tells her his real name, and I don't remember the conversation having much more than that in it. That basically, like they agree that they're gonna try to stop Galactus from consuming the planet.
Oh no, he tells her like his surfboard is the beacon.
Yeah. He tells her that the board is the beacon for Galactus to follow, and which is they go back to the other room where Victor is hanging around, and where the military guys have gone, and the board is now like shimmering, like Galactus has gotten close enough, it's reacting, and Victor kills the soldiers and takes the board for himself.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Victor he's the Silver Surfer now.
Silver Doom.
Silver Doom.
Yeah, so he has the board, which I guess makes him like more powerful than before.
Victor Von Surfer.
Surfer Von Doom.
And the Fantastic Four go after him. Now, they didn't have this in the last movie, but in this movie they have the Fantastic Car.
Fucking fantastic. The Fantastic Ship.
Oh my god, built by Dodge.
The Dodge.
Yeah, I mean, it is a comic book
shitty
thing, the
plug-in.
Fantastic Car, and it does kind of look like that.
Yeah.
Except it's not specifically a Dodge model of vehicle in the comics, I don't think.
Man, there are some parts of that franchise that are still just deeply rooted in the late 60s and have not changed.
Yeah, that's one of them for sure.
That Dodge plug-in was so bad. That like hurt to watch.
It was the second
I
one,
hated
too.
that so much. What does Dodge know about fucking flying futuristic vehicles?
Are you saying Dodge is not the foremost expert in superhero vehicles?
Did Dodge help the smartest man in the world build this? That's so fucking
It's true.
garbage.
Why would Reed need anything from Dodge? They can't even build vans that don't blow up.
You can't put Fantastic Four on the front like, hey guys, I'm the smartest guy Whoever fucking existed. I built this Dodge.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got a no, Reed Richards would never want a Dodge. Fuck that. No.
This is the most shittiest plug-in. Like,
Well, what car should he have, Steve?
disgusting.
I would imagine Reed would just design it himself. I mean, or at the very least, he'd want something like a McLaren or a Bugatti or a Pagani or something that was engineered at the level somebody like him would expect. Like
A fucking Dodge.
Right?
It's not even a Dodge. He made it. Like, what is it? It's not a Dodge. It just has like the logos and the
logo
names
on it.
but it's not. And why would he put that there? It was the shittiest plug-in.
Right?
Oh, like the laziest ass fucking writing. Like, oh, here's some money. Put Dodge on that car in the movie.
And it like separates into 3 sections and it's weaponized. Like, why would Dodge even be building that? Did they
Dodge has
ask
to do
for it,
with
or did Dodge just present it to him? Like, did Reed go to Dodge and like, could you build me this, or was Dodge like, hey, here's this thing? We just like, why?
Reed probably built it. Like, hey, I like Dodge. So I'm gonna put the name on it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the intention was that Dodge was going to mass produce these. So, and this was the advertisement for that.
In
You
2007.
could get your own fantastic car. That's the model.
That's the one. All right.
Yeah, Dodge was doing some weird shit in 2007 then.
Oh my god.
Fucking ridiculous.
Do you think we'll be hearing from Dodge's lawyers?
I certainly
I hope
hope
so.
not.
Fuck you both. If you guys are both challenging them in your own way.
I dare you to give a shit over this fucking made-up flying car with your name on it. You don't even make flying cars. How can you,
Right?
you don't have any authority over that.
Sue me for defaming a product that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Your Honor, this product doesn't exist. Case closed. Like, what the fuck?
So we have a little bit of a chase scene. The Fantastic Car is chasing Doctor Doom on the surfboard. It's pretty brief. Basically, Doom kicks their asses and they have to crash land. As soon as they crash land, he straight up kills Sue Storm. He impales her with like a spear. He like just forges out of matter, I guess.
Wait, can we go back real quick? Because
Sure.
you mentioned he kills Sue. He fucks up General Hagar.
Oh
What's his
yeah.
name? Hagar?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, dude, I was actually surprised. That was probably, out of everything, I thought that was the coolest part. Because he, like, just blasts him in, like, half. Or, like, dematerializes him. Or he, like, fucks that guy up.
It's the only moment in either of these two Fantastic Four films where he actually acted like Doom.
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking blasts him. I was like, okay, here we go. Like,
Right.
now he's pissed. Or this is kind of cool. And then that was pretty much it. It didn't
Yeah,
get cool.
sorry.
I know.
You want more of that? Too bad, buddy.
right?
That one part. Yeah, but then he kills Sue, too.
Yeah,
think
so he
that's
takes her
spear.
out with like a spear. She's down for the count. All the Fantastic Four, they're like kind of like over her body. She's dying, and they decide the only way is to use their power transfer fucking disease thing that Johnny has. And they all give Johnny their power. So he has all 4 powers of the Fantastic Four. He kicks Doom's ass. Pretty lame CGI fight scene, I think.
Yeah, I mean, another one of Doom just pussing out. Like, he should have at least been able to put up more of a fight than that. But
They also didn't explain that power transfer thing well, because when they first found out he could do that, it transferred them both ways, like they switched. But now they're just all giving him their powers. Like they didn't. I thought they were all gonna get all their powers, and like as a team. How come only Johnny got their powers? It didn't give them the powers or his power
Steve,
or anyone
please
else's.
explain the science.
Yeah, we need to know.
I guess, okay, Johnny's like the catalyst here. Like, normally when he touches one of them, he takes their power and exchanges his back into them.
Yes.
And in this instance, he touches the 4 of them and absorbs all.
So
Wait,
shouldn't they all get everyone's powers? Like I thought that was they pull it all together. Why does it all funnel to him?
I'm not okay. You know what? I think basically I'd agree with you. Like, I'm not sure I necessarily think that it would give all 4 of them all 4 powers, but I definitely don't think it should have worked the way it worked.
Yeah,
Like,
it was just for the movie.
It's weird that he should be able to touch all 4 of them and absorb all their 4 powers at once without exchanging anything back to 4 of them. It's really more like what Rogue does. Or even for those of you who deep dive old X-Men comics, anyone who remembers Bishop could absorb other characters' powers.
I thought he could just absorb
No,
energy.
you know what? You're right. Then you're right. It was just energy. So Rogue's really the only one, and it's only temporary. Like, unless she kills the person she's touching, which has
Yeah,
happened.
unless there's always those cases where like she has the permanently absorbed powers that
Right.
Miss Marvel, Sunfire or whatever, Sunspot.
Right.
I don't remember, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it just seemed kind of a cop out. So he gets all their powers. He beats Doom.
It's too easy a solution. Yeah, you're right. And it shouldn't have worked that way, regardless.
It's really neatly wrapped up. I mean,
Yeah.
because they beat Doom pretty easy. They get him off the board. Silver Surfer gets his board back. He has his powers again. Apparently, he can bring people back to life. So he just brings Sue back to life. And apparently, like we said before, he can just stop Galactus. He could have done it at any time. He just flies into him and is like, "All right, we're done."
Wait a minute. He touched the Silver Surfer. How come he didn't absorb his powers?
The Surfer seems to be like the one who controls that. Like, Johnny didn't get the ability to do that until the Surfer touched him. So I think it's one of those things where it's like transmissible, but the Surfer's not affected by it.
Okay, then how come Doctor Doom didn't get that? Doctor Doom didn't steal Johnny's powers or anyone he fought.
Yeah, it's true. The Surfer does touch him, doesn't he?
Yeah. Does he?
Does he? I'm trying to remember now.
That was going to be the plot of part 3. Also, a Sunday brunch that they just can't miss. You know?
Here we go again.
I can't miss this brunch, Sue.
Yeah, the powers.
The Rotary Club lunch.
The powers thing get muddled, and then, like Corey said, the ending's kind of anticlimactic because he just flies into Galactus and blows up.
I mean, I agree with what you said, Corey. It is nicely wrapped up, but I think that's true as well. It's kind of like, oh shit, we need to just make this movie end. Here's an ending.
Because Galactus or Silver Surfer can do that, even though Galactus gave him the powers, and Galactus is Galactus. Like, how can Silver Surfer be more powerful?
I'm watching it on the TV behind us, and like, I hate to say it, I'm going to give it this much credit. Like, the set design is actually pretty cool. Everything's dressed up and organized and aesthetically mostly looks like I think it should. It's not a bad. The world they built is not bad, but everything else is just broken.
They also never explain how the Silver Surfer even talked to Galactus. Like, oh, Galactus is gonna eat your planet. You're like, hey, please, can I talk to you? Galactus doesn't even talk. He's like a cloud in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, you text him.
Hey, bro, I'm doing my planet and we're cool.
I mean, how difficult was this for previous Silver Surfers when there was no like unlimited texting? Like,
yeah, 2007. Those minutes.
Right.
So shitty.
Don't eat the planet. LOL.
Right. Look, I don't get any health care, but he's paying for unlimited minutes, so it's fine.
Flip phones.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot to say about this movie. It's just kind of a drag, and it. So you guys were saying that like the problems with this movie are not necessarily like aesthetic or the casting, and I agree with that for the most part. The problem is that they don't know what to do. Like, they have these things, but they don't know how to make them interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to defend the casting either. As far as I'm concerned, they could have recast every single one of these parts with someone else, except maybe Surfer, and it wouldn't have made any difference to me.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, Jessica Alba's an okay actress. The rest of them are all like competent. Chris Evans I actually don't like very much. I think part of it is because I don't like Captain America, and his performance as Captain America annoys me, and now I don't like seeing him here. But like,
Move this man!
Damn.
Right? But,
that's just Steve's opinion, by the way.
No, definitely.
I'm a huge Cap fan.
Yeah, no, and I have that. I get a lot of other people that are like, "Oh, I can't believe you feel that way. I love Cap," and not for me. But yeah, absolutely. Though they also do not have anything to do. It's like people sat down in a room and said, "We've got these Fantastic Four characters. What do we do?" And everyone's response, I have no idea.
This is the next Karate Kid of superhero movies, where you think there's going to be karate and fighting, and there's not. Or very, very little. Oh, Fantastic Four. Hey, they're going to do some superhero stuff and fight some bad guys, and they barely do. It's terrible. There's no
it's just really just fights. A lot of wedding drama.
Yeah, drama.
Which, man, I'm not a fan of. I mean, I've experienced some wedding drama, and it's not fun.
Generally not entertaining.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned the first Iron Man, which starts off like great, and actually things happen, and the pacing's like a real movie. This one just dragged the fuck out of everything.
It's a bar too high, though. Like, holding this to the Iron Man standard is like holding Batman and Robin to the Nolan standard. It's just never going to meet it.
Yeah.
Like,
but this one didn't, like, it didn't even try. Like, Jesus.
At least Batman and Robin has interesting stuff that happens.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
We should...
I can name like 20 things. You want me to go?
Do it.
All right.
How far in?
Fucking rave gangs that are trying to fuck Poison Ivy.
You and I
while there's a rubber suit Bane knocking him around.
You have a different view of interesting.
At the Turkish bath. Fucking random nightclub scene where women are being auctioned off to millionaires, presumably as prostitutes.
Whoa.
You've never been to that kind of nightclub?
There's giant furry costumes dancing around. It's fucking crazy.
It is definitely crazy. I'll agree with you about that.
There's things going on. That's all I'm saying.
How far into this movie before the first like fight happens? It's
Fight?
probably yeah.
I don't think there's a fight until the end.
Yeah, until the fucking end.
How
Okay.
long is this movie? Like an hour and 39 minutes. So I think like an hour and 33 minutes.
What about the first time anything happened? It's still like half an hour. Or how far in when they have the wedding and it gets interrupted?
So the Silver Surfer shows up at the wedding, which is about 20 minutes in, and Johnny Storm starts chasing him and just gets like choked out immediately. That's
that felt
something.
like longer.
Right?
That felt so much longer.
It might have been longer. I don't know.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. That's the pacing. That was the worst problem. Just like you said, they didn't know what to do or nothing happened.
Yep. And it's not too dissimilar from the first film in that regard. So, well, it wraps up and they do have the wedding at the end. And they decide, you know what? Let's actually be the Fantastic Four. We're not quitting the band. The band's staying together, boys. Happy
Thank
ending.
God. But you'll never see this group together again because this is the last movie with this cast getting made. So
There's also the totally inexplicable reason that they're having the wedding in like Japan.
yeah, and there's a bunch of like Japanese women that none of them seem to know, dressed up as geishas and wearing kimonos.
There's like a
and
huge crowd or guest list.
yeah,
They just found some locals.
yeah, right. That's what it looks like. It's just like they found a bunch of people milling around near the venue they'd chosen. It's like, hey, do you want to dress up in traditional
And get
garb and like
married.
attend our wedding? And people are like, all right, is the meal free? You're like, sure. And Reed Richards is paying.
Open bar?
Yeah,
Completely
obviously.
inexplicable why they just got married in Japan. That was weird.
I mean, it's a nice setting for a wedding, but yeah, no background for that. Like,
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're just here. Let's just get married here right now. Okay.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say before we move to everyone's favorite game?
no, I'm done.
This one's for you, Josh. All right, guys, who is the Jesus character of Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer? Let's go one at a time, starting with Alan.
Silver Surfer. Easy.
Why?
Because he sacrifices himself at the end. And after the credit scene, it's implied, or you see his board move, like he came back to life. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Steve?
It's Sue, because she gets brought back by God. She dies and gets brought back by God. She's resurrected. And she got impaled.
I think the real answer is going to be the Thing.
It could also technically be Victor. Or, yeah, I mean, it's going to end up being like Galactus. Like, so, Corey, which random answer is it this time?
All right, so Ben Grimm's girlfriend is a woman. I'm just kidding.
For fuck's sake, I believed you. I'm expecting you to back that up now.
No, I got no case for that. I was actually going to say what Alan said, the Silver Surfer. I was going to make it so obvious that I hope no one picked it, but
Paid off. Going for the obvious answer.
Oh, God.
Alan wins.
All right.
Alan, on any rating scale you want, how would you rate Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer?
I give it a 1 out of 10 surfers.
Alan's favorite rating for any movie.
Pretty terrible. The pacing was awful. The whole conflict was awful about the wedding. It dragged. You said 20 minutes. It might have been 30. It felt way longer. Nothing really happened. Just like the next Karate Kid, there's no fighting. There's no superhero. They barely fight Galactus. Galactus gets beat at the end by the Silver Surfer, who shouldn't even be possible. And it was so uninteresting and not good. And I'm with you guys. You guys liked Doom more in the comics, but Yeah, in the movie he's kind of shitty. He's
Yeah.
like just like a normal dude. And the only cool part is when he kills the army guy or the commander.
Yeah, the general.
General. Yeah, when he kills the general. But totally boring. 1 out of 10.
I'm gonna go next, Steve, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
I would like to give this film, I'd say, I'll go with 2 out of 10 Doombots.
Okay.
It's like Alan said, pretty much everything. You nailed it. It's just boring, and you want like a certain amount of fights in a superhero movie. You want the superheroes to like showcase their powers by fighting, and there should also be at least some superheroing in there. You know, there's not a lot of either, and again, it's just like a not interesting story. They have these rich characters that they like have downplayed for the movie, so they're not as rich, and they're just kind of fucking boring and shitty. I don't really like this. What do you think, Steve?
I'm gonna give it 3 out of 10 intergalactic planet-consuming storm clouds.
So we got 1, 2, and 3.
My scale is per usual. 1 is unwatchable, 10 is amazing, 5 is average. I'm gonna call this below average by 2 notches. I think some of the set design and the aesthetics were where they needed to be, but I can't think of really much of anything else aside the fact that the Silver Surfer effect was okayish that I'd really say was good about this movie. Doom is an impotent, ridiculous version of himself. The wig Jessica Alba's in with the whole film is disturbingly distracting and stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not attached to any of these people as the characters they're playing. You get the feeling, as you noted with the script, that they just didn't know what to do with any of the characters. There's not nearly enough action. It didn't feel like a comic book movie. Galactus is a cloud. Like, I mean, I could rant on, but the point is, it's definitely, like, it's not unwatchably bad, but this is a below average production. So 3 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
It's like they missed every mark of like a superhero movie.
Right.
This was like, it's almost like it was a time before superhero movies. This was like anything before 2008, pretty much like.
And what a coincidence! This was 2007.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right before they got good.
Before they got good, exactly.
Well, you know, when in the era where Schumacher's Batman's the bad ones, where Burton's Batmans were the only real good comic book films. Well, I've gotten into a huge argument with people saying that too, because a lot of people have to really love the old Superman films, and I just can't get into them.
Well, wait a minute.
Richard Donner films?
Yeah.
I mean, when they say films, I'm assuming they stop at 2. An argument can be made for 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Can be.
Maybe, yeah.
But nothing can be made for 3 and 4. I'm sorry, those films are bad.
They are terrible.
3 and 4 are no good.
Batman Begins came out in 2005.
Yeah, I guess you're
And
right.
I would say that's probably where it started.
That was a good one too.
Yeah.
That was 2005.
I mean, I guess there were some, but this is really before the MCU, and a lot changed after the MCU.
Well, Batman's the only one that ever really consistently bears fruit. You know, I mean, the other films...
Or it bears laughs.
Right? Yeah, I mean, look, that's what makes it really interesting, is they've touched both ends of the quality spectrum with that character. But a lot of the other ones, they never get quite as good. Well, I guess now that's a little different, because so many of the MCU films recently, the last 10 years, really have been good. But prior to that, Batman was really the only one that ever really got that good, I think.
Hey, did you see Far From Home?
Yeah, I saw it.
Was it good?
I liked it. I liked it as much as I liked Homecoming, I'd say, which is not a film that I'm deeply in love with, but I find pretty serviceable and, you know, of good quality.
I think the Mysterio effect came off pretty well.
Gyllenhaal?
Oh, you saw it?
No, but I've seen clips of pieces of the VFX work, so...
Was Jake Gyllenhaal cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors. I think he's great. Yeah, and also, it's just interesting to see him in a Spider-Man movie, since he was going to be in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, there's a clip floating around. Well, apparently he was considered for Peter before they made the first one. And there's a clip floating around of him talking about, you know, I regret not getting it, but Toby is Spider-Man. That's just the way it is. You know, like...
Your name is Toby. All right, so we're not going to draw out of the hat this time. We decided that it would be fun to review and watch the film Johnny Mnemonic, which is an old Keanu Reeves movie before he was a good actor.
I've never seen that movie.
It's just debatable if he's a good actor, but, you know, he's a cool guy.
You can't say that, dude. The internet loves him. You can only say positive things.
That's true. Don't crucify me. It's just sometimes, you know, he's a little...
Don't say it.
He's a little... Whoa. Anyway,
No, yeah.
so yeah, next time we're going to review Johnny Mnemonic. Feel free to write us. You can email us at bigdumbmovie@gmail.com. Leave a comment on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Like, comment, and subscribe, as PewDiePie would say, I guess.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Comment down below. Tell us your favorite movie.
I do want to hear what people that listen to us would like to hear us review. That would be interesting and probably something we'll do. So just send us a message or an email. What would you like to hear us talk about? Anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Johnny Mnemonic.
See ya.
Later.